So it is official. Very puzzling news. Welcome news? Maybe. So Denis Villeneuve is set to do the next James Bond film for MGM Studios. For the few people who don't know, Bond was controlled for decades by one family, but they have let go of James Bond. So this is technically the new owners. This is the Amazon owners. It will be them and Denis making the next Bond film. So keep that in mind. Just bear that in mind. And according to Denis, some of my earliest movie going memories are connected to 007. I grew up watching James Bond films with my father ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery. I'm a diehard Bond fan. To me, he's sacred territory. I intend to honor the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come. This is a massive responsibility, but also incredibly exciting for me and a huge honor. Amy, David, and I are absolutely thrilled to bring him back to the screen. Thank you to Amazon MGM Studios for their trust. Alrighty then, so it is him, it is official, and he has a very nice little quote there. Okay, now let's get, of course, to the worries and rumor mongering, which I did not jump upon, but some people are worried that James Bond will be black. Okay, I guess. I mean, is that the biggest worry? I guess that now Denis is taking over. I don't know. We could go one of two ways. So I loved Dune Part 1, but I may shock people, even though I am a Dune fan, a Frank Herbert fan, and a David Lynch fan. I actually thought Part 2 was kind of bad. Not saying it was all garbage, but there were just huge sections, again, because I have read the book, so there is that bias, where I'm like, yeah, that didn't work out for me. And that will be a series of issues and problems that hopefully he will resolve with the next Dune film, but I don't know. And this is the dilemma with Denis, that he is a great director and he has a vision, and I consistently more like than dislike his films. So I loved Prisoners, I love Sicario. Those films I thought were pretty much golden, near perfect, and I saw them in theaters. However, Arrival, Blade Runner, um, I'm more mixed about. I think they're good, but I don't know. They didn't work for me, frankly. So this is like a hit or miss thing. When it is done well, and I love what he does, it's cinematically like awe inspiring. What he did with Dune Part One is really amazing. I still prefer the David Lynch film, but he did some incredible things. So we may get some of the best James Bond ever put to cinema, no doubt about that. However, will the entire film actually be good? Will the story even make sense? Will the plot be intelligible? I've gone back and forth with James Bond. I liked him in the 1990s, but I haven't really kept up with the earlier films or even the later films. I saw Quantum of Solace. I thought that was fine, but and I don't dislike what they did with the last couple of James Bond films. But again, I'm just not invested in that universe like other universes. So to me, Denny can kind of rewrite a lot of things. I wouldn't really be mad at him. However, clearly the fans expect a certain kind of James Bond. The dream is to have Henry Cavill or somebody of that sort. Whatever else you want to say about Denis, he does not do the expected. Like Timothy Chalamet was very good as Paul Atreides. However, I was hoping he was going to bulk up for Dune Part 2 because I wonder, like, wow, that's a short time period. Is he going to get more beefy? And the answer is no. He pretty much looked identical to Part 1, which is a huge problem if you know the books, the way Paul's age works, but we'll put that aside. He still looked very good. He looked very credible as Paul Atreides, but again, I still prefer the Lynch version there. Even though, again, Lynch also changed a lot, didn't keep to the books, but Frank Herbert approved of that. So we will probably be getting things that a lot of fans will love, both the diehard fans and the more moderate fans like myself. But I think a lot of fans are also going to be like, where are we going to go with this? Because Denis is very clear about his politics. It's a little strange because he was pro Trump. I know. Don't no, I'm not lying. He was pro Trump. So he's a little mix of everything. He's very liberal in some ways, but also very conservative. So if you're expecting James Bond not to be woke, I'm going to disappoint you. I think it will be uber woke. I think it will be very political, very on the nose. It will be a commentary on the modern day, and it will probably have a bit of a feminist streak. But the Dune films had that. Again, I don't fault them for that. That's in the books too. People don't read anymore. However, the way Denis does it, I think, will probably come from an unexpected kind of POV. So I think people will be very shocked about what he's going to do with the subject matter. And I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think people are going to be like, "Oh, you cast that person? You're going to go there? Okay." However, whatever he does, it will be done in a very grand style because, good or bad, Denis is all about the cinema and all about the visual icon. He said over and over again he doesn't like dialogue, and a lot of people are worried about that. James Bond is probably the series of films that, yeah, you could take out a lot of dialogue. You're not going to lose the film. So I expect some insane action scenes, like action scenes we've never seen before, that are going to pop off the screen. So that's going to be amazing. We're going to be given a set of characters that are probably going to be very controversial. He's honoring the tradition, so we're going to keep a lot of the traditional characters. And I think there's no question James Bond is going to be a man. It's going to be a male centric film. But beyond that, I think people are going to be a little hesitant about his entire vision, which is what Denis does. So even though I do admire what he did with the Dune films, even with my disagreements, but one thing I did not like was his overall production design vision, except for Elvis. I liked Elvis. I thought Elvis was fine, but the way he pictured the Harkonnens, just the way the world felt, the costumes, the armor, I'm like, yes, a lot of it is in the books. That's true. However, some things like the Sardaukar looking like astronauts. I'm like, why? I don't know. Like the guild also appearing the way they do. They're not supposed to appear that way either. Um, but it looked great. However, it really didn't meet my expectations. So I'm guessing he's going to do the same thing. We're going to get Bond, but it is going to be with a twist. Some fans are going to go crazy and be like, this is even better than the book. It's even better than the old films. Oh my God, Denis is the most amazing. I will probably be in the middle being like, okay, he has his vision, but let's wait and see. Of course, the disappointing news here is that Chris Nolan will probably not be involved. Though Denis and him are friends. They spoke about Dune. They're clearly very close brothers in a certain way. So I'm guessing he may do something with production work and be involved in that way. He's been on record. He definitely wants to do something with James Bond. So I'm guessing he will definitely be the next choice. So I'm guessing it's going to go from Denis to Nolan, and then we're going to go into unknown territory. But now let me finish off with Dune, because obviously the dilemma here now is Dune going to just be a trilogy? He will try to end the whole saga with a little bit of Children of Doom, maybe a little cameo of God Emperor, and that'll be it. Or he's going to leave the door open to other directors. I hope he does leave the door open because, as much as I do like what he did, I wouldn't mind something more faithful. I hope he corrects some things he did with the Mentats and just the, for lack of a better word, the political economy, just the way the families worked. And to me, the Atreides just came off too noble, too heroic. So I do hope that the next film corrects that. But Denis clearly wants to do his own trilogy. Now he promised to do the books. I don't think he's lying. Clearly, he does love the books, and there are a lot of Easter eggs. But at the end of the day, this is pretty clearly the Denis trilogy. It's not the Dune trilogy. And again, that's fine. We have the miniseries. The miniseries is much more faithful, but it looks terrible. At the end of Dune proper with Paul and his sister, I can see flies. It looks terrible. So Dune Part 1 and 2 look cinematically incredible, but they don't really have much tie to the Dune universe, really. It's its own mythology with Denis' supervision. And I hope if we're going to continue with Dune, we have something more balanced. Again, it's fine having an auteur vision. I have no issue with auteurs, but I don't know. I'd prefer a little bit more faithfulness to the books, but that's me. So it's exciting news, but I think after the initial wave of like, oh my God, this is incredible, there's going to be some doubts. There will be reasonable doubts and then stupid doubts. Like, I had no doubt Paul was going to be a main character in Dune Part 2. A lot of people were like, oh no, Zendaya, the black woman, is going to take over. I'm like, shut up. That didn't happen. In fact, he actually overcorrected. If you wanted Paul to do a lot of things, oh, he does a lot. He did a lot in Part 2. He did more things than he does in the books. So I think people are going to be sort of mixed where he's going to go with James Bond. It's like, you want a male character, we're going to give it to you, but it's going to be with so many twists. I think people are going to be like, you know what? I kind of prefer the 1990s version, but I have a lot of confidence with Denis. And again, the James Bond films have reinvented themselves over and over again. It's not Dune. It doesn't have a stable set of canonical books. So I'm probably going to be more open to the changes, but I predict the fandom is going to be at war with one another very soon. I think Denis will give us a lot that most fans will love, but he's going to do some things that a huge contingent is going to be like, oh no, oh my God, what is he doing? Oh no. But it's early, so I'm going to join I think, the supporters here. But I think Denis is going to do a few things that are going to be like, oh my god, and start making people doubt his genius. I think he is a genius, but we can ask questions. We can ask questions.